So the opposite of a slice, and some of my peers actually have some trouble with this where they either block it or hook it.
Right, so it's sort of hanging on to it.
Right.
Right, which is what we hear, being stuck. Mainly for good players, we see this problem, sort of blocks and hooks, they're the same family. And it's really, I think, having the confidence to release the club correctly. Okay, so set up to the ball there, right? And this is the feeling. You can, okay, work it back here. Okay, as you work down here, we can see the feeling, and this is really understanding how the hands work in the swing. The right hand stays under the left hand there, okay? In other words, it's under it being behind the left hand, okay? That's probably the best way of describing it, okay? It's not out there, certainly, and it's not back like this, but the right hand is behind the left hand. At this point now, as you releasing it or squaring off at impact, okay, we're now in a position where now the right hand can actually fire and work under this way. So if you look at the club face, as long as you have the feeling that the club face is going to release in this fashion instead of that fashion, okay, which as you can see, this is what we see typically with so many players. We just put this club down here. We see a lot of that. A player comes into the ball, they hang on, hang on, hang on. The club may be coming a little too far from inside. They might have the shaft leading too much at this point here, and then they're strong enough to manage to hold it in this position, so they're not going to hook or block every shot. They can hold it here, but then from here it's almost as if you let the air out of the balloon and the thing goes woo, and you look at this point, it looks like, wow, that person really hooked it, but not necessarily, because they held it off through impact. Right. But if you can get this feeling of this release where, say, the right hand feels under the left, under the left, under the left, and even at this point, it feels under the left. Can you see that? So rather than over the top. So now, this is, to me, now you've got this club face on a perfect plane here, okay? It's actually square to your arc, and this is way I like to see good players really release it, for all players for that matter. But anybody's having hooks and blocks issues, as long as they're in sync, to me, it's really understanding the release. So just hit a nice little easy shot. This is always good when you're working on things, to hit nice easy shots, all right? And you'll feel the way the hand works. So the right hand's gonna feel back, behind the left, and then under the left, okay? That's it. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, you see that? I mean, if anything, it had a nice little baby cut to it there. You see, no feeling that you were gonna hold back on it. So I get back to that feeling that Ben Hogan had. He said, listen, when I figured out how I wasn't going to hook it, and I was in the right position, I wished I had 3 right hands. I wanted to hammer it with my right hand. So you can use your right hand. You just got to learn to use your hands correctly. So you can see, right hand's behind the left. This is pretty flat, coming into impact, flat, or even maybe slightly bowed, but certainly flat. Then from here, this right hand just works under. And so it's a way of releasing it that a lot of people don't really discuss, but it's something that one should try. And I tell you what, for you good players, it works remarkably well with wedges because you never get the leading edge digging in. You always use the bounce. So you want to hit some good wedge shots, I'll tell you what, this is the way to actually feel it by working this right hand correctly.